If I get information about a somebody that I haven't heard from that somebody, how can I know that what I'm hearing is actually a truth? And what power do I give that secondhand information? The reason you've learned how to do it is because it matters to you in terms of being able to partner with whoever you're with.
Absolutely.
To achieve whatever it is that brings you together. We're picking up here right where we left off. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
So we need to get into some of those coping things.
For sure.
Yes. Okay. So maybe the fifth one, the last one in terms of, it's not the only 5, but what we could cover in our conversation today would be this whole unfair workload consideration. Unmanageable tasks. Assigning unmanageable tasks and setting unrealistic deadlines. Now, you mentioned something that happened to you as you just came on board this new job, and where there was the vice president that was giving you a little bit of a, it was just
joking around a little bit.
Yeah. But being able to say, you know, at least he had the wherewithal to say, look, I was just.
Yeah, I know you're not actually going to be able to pull that off.
Yeah.
But yeah, it is interesting, that unfair workload, that people will set other people up for failure.
Yeah.
Like, I always try to set my team up for success, right? So if I have to break it down to little bite-sized pieces versus going, here's this entire project that I want you to have done in 2 weeks, knowing full well it's going to take you 3 months. I don't want to set you up for failure. And it baffles me that leaders set their teams up for failure, because is that not a reflection on you as a leader?
Interesting, because that begs a question that if in the culture of that organization, it's okay to blame your team for the failure,
right,
but not to accept the responsibility as its leader.
I just had a conversation with someone about this the other day. It was fascinating. He worked in the aerospace industry, and he was talking about why he didn't advance as far as he wanted to, as far as he intended to in his career. And he said in the particular industry and company that he worked for, everything was consensus. And it was consensus because that way nobody had to take responsibility.
Oh.
And he said the division he worked in, he was like, look, I'm the leader. I have no problem taking accountability and ownership if this fails or if it succeeds. If it succeeds, we're all in it. And if it fails, I'll take the hit. And they were like, whoa, you can't do that. We have to talk about it as a leadership team. We have to come to consensus, because that way there's not one person responsible and there's no fall guy. And he's like, I'll be the fall guy. I don't care.
Wow.
But he was like, he got so sick of playing everything so safe and having everyone come to consensus. And he was like, I'll make the darn decision and we'll move forward. And he's like, that's why I didn't move as far along in the career as I intended, as I thought I would, was because I was okay to make a decision and I was okay to take the hit or the success. And nobody else in that particular company operated like that.
Now that's a person who understands their boundaries.
Yeah. 100%. Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Well, if we were to take this same kind of reflection and move it out of a business setting and more into the social, just the non-work, there's a whole different type of performance that that we have to engage in the social setting. But bullying happens there. And again, it's not just about cyberbullying. It's just about people bullying other people. And one of the strongest things, and I am going to own that I have been a part of this channel of gossip and rumors.
I think that holds true in the workplace too.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree.
Everyone's done it to some degree, right?
So if you're spreading false information, you're spreading harmful information about someone, or engaging in that backbiting kind of process. One of the things I brought up in my lives was this whole notion about secondhand information. Mm-hmm. If I get information about a somebody that I haven't heard from that somebody, how can I know that what I'm hearing is actually a truth? And what power do I give that secondhand information? I was a victim of that so many times.
Yeah. I think what's interesting, because I can just reflect back so many times, in particular in my career with that, where people would say to me, oh, you got to be careful with that person. When you go meet with that person, just be really careful because like he's mean, he's not gonna want to talk to you, yada yada yada. And I'll take it in and I'll use it sparingly because I'm like, I'm gonna make my own determination about other people and how they show up, and I tend to have a different way of showing up for people myself. And so it's always been fascinating to me where somebody says, oh, this guy's a real tyrant. He's going to hate you. He's not going to like you. You guys aren't going to get along. You're going to have an awful conversation. And I go and I meet the person and we have a lovely conversation and I'm invited back to the conversation and I'll get back to my office and everyone's like, how did it go? Oh my God, are you okay? Do you need to go to lunch? Do we take a break? I'm like, I'm fine. We had a great conversation. You did? Yeah, I'm going back next week for another conversation and we might even go for coffee. And it's just fascinating to me. And I'm like, look, I show up differently for people because I can read people. So like some of these people that give you the be careful about this person, be careful about that person. You know what I heard about this person or this is my experience. I think they mean well most of the time. Like they're trying to give you a heads up. But you have to be able to take that information in and set it to the back of your head and go make your own judgments, go make your own assessments. Because I guarantee you that those people entered this person's office very differently than I did.
Yes.
I don't come in and go, look, I'm a high D, as particularly in the workplace. At my personal life, I'm more of an I on the disc scale, more influencer, fun, parody, like bird. In the workplace, I'm very much an eagle. If we think about the birds that are associated with some of these preference styles and personality, I am bottom line to the point. Don't waste my time. Let's get stuff done. But when I walk into somebody's office, I can discern what kind of personality style they are based on how their office is set up.
Yeah.
And so I'm going to show up how I can best relate to them. I'm not going to come in as a high D to somebody who might be an S. Somebody who's that kind of peaceful dove, harmony, let's all get along kind of person. I'm not going to come in guns a-blazing, so to speak.
No.
So it's just funny to me because some of the people that have tried to give me that advice where they have been gossiping and spreading rumors about people, they don't know how to acquiesce their style. And so, yeah, they rub people the wrong way. And then they internalize it to that person's a jerk because we don't get along. Maybe you're the jerk. I don't know.
Not me.
Well, I mean, no, I'm kidding. But it's fascinating to me how many people do the gossipy, rumory thing thinking it's good intentions. I'm trying to protect you.
That's right. That's right. Let me help you.
Yeah.
And how easy is it to absorb that?
Fall trap to it.
Yeah. Absorb that, and that becomes one of your primary filters because, well, so-and-so said. Like, you can set it aside. It's information. It's not necessarily fact, but it's information. And I love how you bring out the fact you present based on what you are bringing in that is fact because it's you and you're in their setting. I've been that same thing, walking into somebody's office and you can tell, you just know, even if you don't know the person.
Right.
And how often have we been engaged with people for the first time to have no background on them, whether or not somebody's had a chance to fill your ear with gossip and rumors and recommendations about how you approach them.
Right.
Wait, how I approach you is me. It's about who I am. And I want to make sure that you get a very clear indication of who I am and how I am by how I approach you. And it's not that I'm being ignorant. What I'm doing is taking in all of those signals. The symbols that are out there in a person's environment are very clear signals to leverage, not through somebody else's filter but my own.
And there's actually some neuroscience. I think we've talked about this before. There's actually neuroscience that says within a few seconds of meeting somebody, I can tell, are you like me or not like me? I can spot a high D in a hot second and be like, cool, you're like me. I don't have to do all this. Hey, how are you? What's going on? How's your day? How was your weekend? How are the kids? I can walk into your office and be like, Bob, I need this. You got it? Cool. I'm out. That's it. Other people, it's like, oh, hi, I like your new necklace. How are you doing? And that's fine and well and good. Not my style in the workplace, but I've learned how to do that, and I've learned how to do it really well.
The reason you've learned how to do it is because it matters to you in terms of being able to partner with whoever you're with.
Absolutely.
To achieve whatever it is that brings you together.
I remember somebody that you had when we worked together who a lot of people feared, a lot of people didn't want to work with. And when you retired, this person was like, you changed my life. And had you taken in all the crap that people said about this poor guy, who I also thought was a lovely man, I never had any issues with him. But if you had taken in an ounce of the pounds that was given to you, you would have never had the kind of conversations you had with him.
No, you're right.
And that man, I don't even know if he knew half the stuff that people said about him. And I don't know that if he knew, he would have cared.
Probably not. Or he might have actually been very happy.
He might have been proud of it. I don't know. But the rumors and the gossip are so prolific. And I think sometimes, again, people share stuff with good intent. And I think sometimes there's malice behind it. So I think everyone has been a part of the gossip and the rumor mill. And I know I have, and most of the time I can say it's been with good intent. Sometimes it hasn't been, but most of the time it's with a good intent. But even there, does this person really need to know my opinion of something? Probably not.
I don't know why, but I am just this moment reminded about a mutual leader who warned you about the team that you were coming into.
Oh, yeah.
And I was a part of that team.
Yes, I wasn't going to be accepted.
Yeah. And it was like, and had an issue with the fact she said, oh, no, we're good. No problem.
We're great. No problems here.
Oh, my God. Okay. There are these moments and people trying to take care of other people. They're coming from a place of legitimate concern and consideration for somebody coming into that organization. It was just hilarious.
That was funny.
Yeah, it was, actually.
You're not going to be accepted. They're not going to like you. They're going to exclude you because they're just a good pair.
Yeah, no.
Okay.
All right. Which gets us to exclusion, which is another thing.
Yes.
But this is more about, and we were talking, while this isn't just in the social setting, because let's face it, business, there's a whole lot of social that goes on.
Absolutely.
And it's not about social with business people from the outside or doing stuff outside of work. It's a social setting, even though it's about business. So the notion that we can exclude people, you deliberately leave people out of a social situation, or you ignore someone. If you're in, I had a period in my life when there was this notion that I was invisible. I would be in a group setting and there'd be discussion and conversation going on and whatever. And it was like I was not there. And I became very aware of this. And at one point, finally had to interrupt and say, it feels like I'm invisible here. And the fact of the matter is that's how I was projecting. And I had to become aware of the fact that I wasn't doing anything to make myself be fully a part of whatever was going on. But then I got irked because my invisibility was being honored. So there you get into that place. So I don't know, that just came flashing back, perhaps with a little flush. But ignoring someone. If we see somebody being ignored in a conversational sense, isn't it incumbent on all of us to be able to say, and so What do you think about that? Now, I know I wouldn't have to invite you, Shelley, into that because
I don't know what you're talking about.
okay, so there's the exclusion piece.
What just flashed through my head was sometimes people, the introverts, like the uber introverts, they're cool not participate. Like they want to be that invisible person. They want to be, I want to hear what's going on, but I don't need to participate. So I have a friend that if I would say, what do you think? She would probably end our relationship. Would be like, what are you doing? I'm cool being here on the kind of outskirts of the conversation. So like, I hear what you're saying and invite people in and make sure everyone's included. Also know who you're doing that to.
Yes. Yeah. And that's a really fair point, because what I didn't recognize then was that I really didn't want to be visible.
Yeah.
But then when it was like ratified, she's invisible, I took offense.
And then you were like, but wait a minute, I don't actually want to be invisible.
No, it just kind of sort of maybe sometimes. I don't know.
Yeah.
Okay. So we talked about gossip and rumors and exclusion, and we've really spent a lot of time on cyberbullying, which is
so prevalent these days. Everyone, it's amazing how many people to perfect strangers will just say whatever comes to mind. I think sometimes they have to work at coming up with some of the crap they say.
You do. You think that, I got to find something crappy to say right now?
I do.
Really?
Because how do people come up with this crap right off the top of their head? Some of it is just nasty.
It is.
Like, so I play pickleball, right? So I'm on a whole bunch of pickleball Facebook pages and Instagram pages. And there's someone just posted something this morning that they went to a new place to play pickleball. And there was 2 women playing pickleball, and she was a solo player. She didn't have a partner. And she said, hey, could I hit with you guys? It's one of those open play. And they said, no, you have to have a partner. And all these people came on to this page and were like, why are you so stupid? Why do you think you could play without a partner? And other people were like, if somebody would have approached my friend and I, if we were playing, we would have absolutely figured it out. You can play 3 people. You just do it a little bit different. And a bunch of people were very supportive, but there was a whole lot of people that called this person stupid, dumb, ignorant, because she dared to ask if she could play pickleball with 2 people that were already playing. Like, you got to work pretty hard at that.
So, yeah. So that goes right along with public shaming.
Pickleball.
Yeah. And public shaming.
Yes.
Right? So
Yeah.
the fact is that would those people have made those comments?
To your face.
To your face?
No.
No.
So I'm pretty sure the person that told me I needed to heal my trauma and I should stop doing a podcast would not say that to my face.
Right. But then we get to the place where people do say things to people's faces, making derogatory remarks. For what is the point? Now, I have to get really reserved in talking about this whole criticizing and mocking someone in public venues, since at the moment it seems to be mainstream that we do that. It's where we are in the season of whatever. But
the season of whatever.
Yeah. So
it's called politics in the USA.
Yeah. It's just this whole thing. But the notion that we would mock someone, criticize someone just openly, I don't know. It's bullying. It's bullying.
I've shared with you, I've been called stupid because I wear flip-flops.
Yes.
Who knew that my choice of footwear had any?
Your mental capacity is clearly limited if you're going to choose to wear flip-flops.
Yeah, who knew that had bearing on my actual intelligence?
Oh my God. But really. So,
yeah.
But what is the point? The point is that the bully is trying to just exercise some kind of control and be able to...
It's all about power and control.
I know.
They want to feel good, and putting other people down helps them feel good.
And
they're sad sacks.
Okay. But we're not calling anybody names or... But you think about it. When you see that happening, what's to be done? What is it? Besides ignoring it, but ignoring it is actually contributing to a problem that says we let it go. And I think we'll have a whole episode just about that talks about, well, what do we do?
What do we do
when we see that? And just to get to the last one that we could maybe cover today would be the whole manipulation. And I see gaslighting in this, right?
Oh, yeah.
Using guilt, emotional manipulation to control how somebody responds or what they will or won't do. Mm-hmm. And pressuring people to do stuff they're just not comfortable with. Mm-hmm. Come on. You want to be a part of this?
Like me pressuring you into doing a podcast with me?
There was so much pressure involved. I had this dream. Cool, let's do it.
Let's do it.
But it's just ugly.
Yeah.
All of this is ugly. And trying to control somebody, putting them in a place where they have to do stuff that they're just not comfortable with. I know this isn't just in the social setting. I know that this happens in business.
Families, business, churches, communities.
So true.
Sports. It's everywhere. I would be hard pressed. I know you shared the statistics on the last episode, and I think it was 30% of people have been bullied. I call BS. I think 100% of people have been bullied at some point in their life, and I would venture to say a high percentage of people have bullied themselves. But I can't imagine finding somebody who's never experienced some sort of bullying. They may not recognize it as bullying because they might just be used to it from certain people.
There's that.
But I can't imagine that there's a person on this planet, except for maybe a newborn, who has not been bullied.
So that would make talking about what we do in the face of that a great conversation to have next.
Yeah, and we will cover that in our next episode.
Perfect.
I'm DocShellie.
I'm Carla Lewis. Till next time. The point is that the bully is trying to just exercise some kind of control.
It's all about power and control.
To be continued.